Street performers, many of us have seen them. So you want to make some extra money, you just walk into the street and perform? Well, that takes us to this week's case. It involves two women, Michelle San Pietro and her friend Leah Patrick. They decided to go to Las Vegas, and they were going to make money by posing as sexy cops on the Las Vegas Boulevard and allowing tourists to take their pictures and then ask for tips in exchange for allowing their pictures to be taken. Okay, they're doing that. They researched this. They realized that if they were going to charge money for this, they needed to have a work permit from Clark County, which is where Las Vegas is located. So they're out there, then they're doing this. Along comes an undercover police officer. Undercover police officer says, "Can I have my picture taken?" They say, "Yes." He asks, "Well, is it going to cost me any money?" They say, "Well, you can just give us tips." He apparently then nodded or in some way led them to believe he would pay a tip for this. Picture was taken. He begins walking away. They said, "How about our tip?" He said, "I'm not going to pay you." They said, "Well, wait a second. You entered into an oral contract with us. You said that you would pay us a tip. We said you can pay us a tip. You said you'd pay us a tip. That's an oral contract. You owe us money." At that point in time, he arrested them. And arrested them because they were charging for services and they did not have a county work permit for doing business on the street. Well, the case against one of the girls was dismissed because she had not asked for any money, and she, Michelle, was very upset with that because she said, "Wait a second, my civil rights were violated. I was arrested without probable cause. I was out here performing on the street. I have a First Amendment right of freedom of speech to perform on the street, and you guys arrested me for no cause whatsoever." Case went to a federal district court, and there the court heard a motion for summary judgment and said basically, well, we find that there was a violation of your protection against an unlawful arrest. Here there wasn't probable cause. We find that the arrest was unlawful. Court did not deal with the First Amendment issue. Michelle said, "I'm going to appeal this on the First Amendment issue," went up to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, and there the court heard the arguments. On one side, on behalf of Michelle, it was argued she has a right, freedom of speech, to perform in the street. Since she has that right, if an arrest takes place without probable cause, that is an unlawful arrest. On the other side, county argued, wait a second, she demanded repeatedly money, therefore she was attempting to elicit money for performance and she needed to have a work permit. She didn't have one and we had probable cause to arrest. Court looked at this, heard both arguments, and they agreed with Michelle. They came away saying, you are right, you are right. You have a First Amendment right to perform. You have a First Amendment right to ask for tips. And if you're only asking for tips, well then you are not charging for the service provided and you don't need a work permit, and the rest was basically unlawful. Okay, so what do we learn from this? What we learned from this is a couple of things. One, street performers are protected by the First Amendment and then they can be out there in the street performing. As long as they do not extract any money for their performance, as long as they just have a hat out there or a tin cup, they also don't need to have a work permit. They can just do this. But when they start demanding money in exchange for what they're doing, then they will probably need a work permit depending on what county in which they're doing this. So at the end of the day, yes, if you do want to make some additional dollars, you can go into the street, you can perform as a street performer, and you don't need to have a license to do that, provided you are not asking for money in exchange for whatever performance you're providing. Okay, bringing this case or bringing cases every week so you understand how the law works. I'm David Allen.